So welcome class, this is question 4 and question 4 of the December 2022 PPM paper. We have 3 parts A, B and C. So A, assess 5 characteristics of Fayol's administrative theory. 5 characteristics of Fayol's administrative theory. Now, I wonder why the examiner chose to call these characteristics, because I think the best way to go about this is because the Fayol's work has basically been summarized in terms of the 14 principles. And so the characteristics of Fayol's administrative theory will simply be captured in the 14 principles. If you describe the 14 principles, basically the features of these, the whole administrative theory will come out. Actually, the administrative theory is about the 14 principles that Henry Fayol came up with. And so I will simply narrow down the whole question to the 14 principles. And from the 14 principles, you can just come up with any 5. So we have the division of work. We have unity of command. We have order as a principle. We have centralization. We have esprit du corps. This is teamwork. Then we have initiative. Then we have job security. We have remuneration. Then we have subordination. We have discipline. We have scalar chain. We have unity of direction. How many are these? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we are remaining with only 2. Let me see these 2. Remuneration, centralization, scalar, order, equity, and I think equity and what? Equity and authority. Those are the 2 that we had not mentioned, equity and authority. So this is basically in a nutshell, this is the work of Henry Fayol. He came up with these 14 principles. So if somebody asks you to assess 5 characteristics of Fayol's administrative theory, to me, how do we describe the Fayol's administrative theory? It is these principles that define Fayol's administrative theory. So I'll talk of division of work. This is where you group work into homogeneous, classifications, and then you get the right person to do the job. Unity of command, that you can only have one head to give instruction at any given point in time. Orderliness, work should be arranged in such a manner that you know where to start, where to stop, such like stuff. Centralization, power is vested in the hands of a few who will give the direction. And actually, these few are the ones to give the direction, and you can see unit of direction here. This is teamwork. Initiative is ability to take the first step. It's about something like entrepreneurship, where you take the first step to start something. Job security, this is security of tenure, and this basically gives the employees a sense of belonging so they can work even, be motivated. Remuneration, same. That you should remunerate the employees well so that they can give you the best. Subordination, organization's interests come first. Discipline, of course, it goes without saying. Scalar chain, that line kind of report to kind of a structure. So what we are saying is just pick any 5 here, and that will help you to basically assess. And assessing, maybe you might want to compare you might want to check if these principles are actually effective in today's life. Like division of work, very much effective. Unity of command, very much effective, unless in an organizations where we are talking about matrix structure. Order, very effective. Centralization, very effective, though most of the organizations are moving towards decentralization, but it's applicable. Esprit de corps applicable, initiative applicable. So just look at this and then you try to see if they are still applicable in today's world. You will be done with that question. Let's look at the second one. The outline 6 functions of middle-level management in an organization. Now, the middle-level management, in an organization we have 3 layers of management. We have the top level, the middle level, and the low level. Now, the low level need to have the technical skills. These are the people who do. They are operational in nature. The middle level need to have the relational skills, and they are very good. They act as a link between, the top management and the low level management. And then these are the top level management need to have the conceptual skills to know where they are taking the organization, and they are very good at formulating policies and generally the direction of the organization. So just by going with this, we already have 2 key things here about the mid-level management, because the question is simply on the mid-level management. So 6 functions of middle-level management. Number 1, they act as a link between the low level and the top level. This is one of the key functions of the mid-level management. They act as a link. Then number 2, they check on the relationships, and this relationship might be between these 2 parties and themselves, or even outside. Normally they are vested with a lot of work that the relational works, and that goes even outside the organization. That is within the organization and outside the organization. Remember, the top level management are busy crafting the ways here on where this organization should be headed to, and they are very busy making unstructured kind of decisions. Unstructured decisions. For the mid level, we talk of the structured decision. At least these people have done something, so they talk of semi-structured decision, whereas the low level basically deal with the structured, and that's why these people are normally paid low peanuts, because theirs is just to implement. But the middle level, you can see at least they get semi-refined information, and they have to refine this information, come up with policies, come up with plans on how the procedures of doing things, before they can feed to the low level management. So from just this, we have seen that one of their roles again is to come up with policies and ensure that there is implementation by enforcing these policies. They push them downwards and they expect them to be implemented, and of course they take whatever it is that comes from down and report to the top level management. So you can see that kind of role that they play. So they report to management. It's one of their roles. They oversee these operational level managers. They come up with policies and ensure implementation. They also make sure that they cascade the resources to enable, because these are the doers, these ones. The operation levels are the doers. So the mid-level managers must make sure that they cascade the resources downwards, so that the doers can have all that they want to perform the relevant functions. And of course, they have to follow up after cascading the resources. They have to follow up to see how they play the follow-up role, basically monitoring how the performance is faring on, which sometimes, for lack of a better word, you can call supervising. But really, supervising is we are talking about the low-level managers. But of course, these ones have the role of also monitoring what is happening to ensure that performance levels are adhered to, and will help eventually reach the organizational goals. Assigning, supervising specific work, getting the right staff to do the job, getting the right staff to do the job, it's part of their duty. What else? Interpreting the strategies, and I think we talked about the semi-structured. They will get the unstructured decisions. They will get the semi-structured decisions from the top level management, and they're supposed to work on them so that they make them structured for ease of implementation by the low level management. So they interpret the strategy of the top level, and then of course we've talked about recruiting people who will do the job at the low level, and they also have the duty of motivating, inspiring. Remember, we've talked of the relationships. These are people in charge of relationships. So part of the relationship is good relationships with the staff, so that they can get the most out of it. And of course, even the welfare conditions, the welfare and working conditions, it is these same people to see to it that the welfare and working conditions are up to date, and that they can help the organization achieve its purpose. So how many roles have we said? They act as a link, relationship, both within and outside, policies, implementation, enforcing, monitoring and following up, getting the right staff to do the job. They motivate the staff, they check on the welfare, they cascade the resources, and don't talk of just cascading. Let's include also lobbying. They lobby. Lobby is, going to represent the low level management to the top level management, so that top level can release enough resources, not much resources, to the low level. I think this is good enough. This is good enough. I'm a bit rough, but I hope you will enjoy the roughness, because that's what makes learning good. Get the points. The points are what are very important. So just get the points and then put them in your own words. Thank you. Let's look at the last bit of it. Highlight 4 ways in which sorry for those letters, so many letters I'm getting there. Okay, so highlight 4 ways in which control could become dysfunctional in an organization. This question, I'll just approach it through the steps of controlling. The steps of controlling: number 1 is planning, coming up with the standard results. This is the process of controlling. Then follow it up with the actual results. This is what we expect. What do we expect? This is the planning process. These are the results we expect. These are the actual results that we have achieved, actual results. And then get the deviation between the standard and the actual, standard minus actual. It can be either way. You can either get favorable or unfavorable deviations. So get the deviations. Sorry for that. Get the deviations. Then after you get the deviations, what do we do? After you get the deviations, now the corrective action. Find the corrective action that you are going to put in place to correct the deviation if it requires correction. And then, of course, we have to follow up to see if this corrective action has worked. If it has not worked, then we put more corrective measures in place. So this is the typical control process. Now, let's go back to the question. Highlight 4 ways in which control could become dysfunctional in an organization. Number 1, it will become dysfunctional if we are not aligning the expectations to the vision of the organization. Vision and goals. So we should always align the expectations, the objectives, to the vision and the goals of the organization. That way, the controls will be functional. They will be moving in the same direction with where the organization is heading to. Then, we need to have accurate ways of measuring the results. Systems. We need to have systems. Technology is better because it doesn't allow biasness. No. So let's have systems that can measure correctly the actual results. Otherwise, if we end up measuring results with biasness, then that can also end up backfiring badly to the organization, because people will be demotivated and they won't even mind. After all, you will sit in an appraisal and just come up with the results that you want to come up with. So unless we come up with systems that can assure that the actual results are going to be measured with accuracy, then again, the whole control thing might be useless. It might be dysfunctional in an organization. Now even the deviations we'll get will not mean so much to the employees, because how are we measuring? Was it accurate? If it was not accurate, then the deviation won't mean anything. They won't really handle anything. That control function is basically useless if you can't justify how you are measuring. Then the deviation, of course, again, the accuracy comes in here. That deviation. And what are the corrective measures? Do you enforce? And this deviation, I think the question that we need to ask ourselves here is, what is the root cause? Root cause, because you can just get a deviation, but what has caused the deviation? I think that will be a very important question when we talk about making control functional in an organization. Can we go to the root cause of the matter? I like it in accounting. We talk of something called variance analysis, where you go deeper, in-depth analysis to understand. Ask yourself, what is the cause of this variance? If we can get the cause of the deviation, then we are on our way to ensuring that the control system in an organization is actually functional. Then, once we understand the root cause, what is the corrective measure? And unless we have measures to correct and enforce, basically ensure implementation of this measure, then there's no need for us going through the whole of this process. Let's go through the whole of this process when we are determined to correct the situation. So corrective measures, very important. They make control functional in an organization. But without corrective measures, we just find out the deviation and then it stops there. Nobody's interested in following up to make sure that we have actually corrected. No, it makes it lose meaning. Then follow up. Have we achieved now what we wanted to achieve? Very important question. This calls for monitoring and evaluation. Monitoring and evaluation. So these 5 items will make control functional in an organization. The lack of this will make control dysfunctional in an organization. So let's go back to the question. Highlight 4 ways in which control could become dysfunctional in an organization. It will become dysfunctional in an organization if any of this is not being done the way it's supposed to be done. Thank you. Let's meet in the next question.